You have felt it come, that hot, sudden sting at the back of your eyes out of nowhere from nothing you could point to, not dust, not wind, not the sharp bite of an onion under your knife, something else entirely, a few notes of an old song, a face at a door you did not expect, a line in a letter, the good news you had waited too long to hear or the bad news you had feared. And before you had decided anything at all, your eyes were filling, warm and blurring, and one spilled over and ran hot down your cheek, and then another, and you could not fully stop them no matter how you tried. Maybe you were somewhere you did not want to be seen doing it, so you fought. You tipped your head back, you blinked hard and fast, you pressed a knuckle to the corner of your eye, you swallowed against the tight ache rising in your throat, you turned your face away and stared hard at nothing. And still it came. Because whatever it is that opens those small gates behind your eyes, it does not answer to you. It is not asking your permission. It reaches past your careful, dignified, deciding mind, and it wrings the water out of you, right there, in front of whoever happens to be standing near. And it is not just you. It is every human who has ever lived. The strongest person you know has done it in the dark where no one could see. A newborn does it in its first breath of air. The oldest and the youngest, in every land, in every time that ever was, have wept from joy and from grief and from a beauty too large to hold. You have done it, and you were probably a little ashamed of it, and you should not have been, and by the end of this I hope you never are again. Because here is the thing almost nobody stops to notice. You are the only creature on the whole of the earth that does this, the only one. Out of every animal that has ever breathed in all the long history of living things, you, and only you, weep tears from feeling. I am Og, and the fire is warm tonight, and I want to sit with you over something you have done 1,000 times and been quietly embarrassed by nearly every one of them. This small salt water that leaks from your eyes when your heart is too full or too broken. You think it is weakness. You think it is a breakdown, a failing, a childish thing you were supposed to grow out of and never quite did. You have been taught to hide it, to swallow it, to apologize for it, to call it the very opposite of strength. And I am here to tell you tonight that you have it backwards. Completely backwards. That warm blur in your eyes is not a flaw in you. It is one of the most powerful and most human things your body knows how to do, an ancient piece of machinery so clever and so strange that the greatest minds who ever studied life could not fully work out what it was for. Because think about how odd it is truly once you stop and look. A wolf will grieve. It will stand over a fallen packmate and refuse to leave and go quiet and off its food for days. But its cheeks stay dry. A chimp, our nearest cousin, will mourn a dead child and carry the small body for hours and will not shed a single tear of sorrow. An elephant may stand a long vigil over its dead. But this leaking of water from the eyes because the heart is moved, this belongs to you alone. And that should stop you cold, because nature does not build costly, useless things and keep them in creature after creature for 100,000 years and more. If you carry it, and only you, it is doing something. The only question is what. This is an old puzzle, and it stumped one of the finest minds that ever turned itself on the living world. A careful, patient thinker who spent his whole life explaining why creatures are the way they are, why the eye and the wing and the fear and the smile are all shaped by long, slow use, came at last to human weeping and more or less threw up his hands. He looked hard at emotional tears and could not see the use of them. They seemed to him, in his own words, something close to purposeless, a strange spillover with no clear point. If a mind like that could not crack it, you can forgive the rest of us for shedding tears our whole lives and never once wondering what they were truly for. But we know more now than he did. And the answer that has slowly come together is more beautiful than he could have guessed. To find it, you have to understand first that you do not cry one kind of tear. you cry too, and they are not the same thing at all, though they run down the same cheeks. The first kind your eyes are making right now, quietly, all day long, and you never notice. A thin wash of salt water spread across the eye with every blink, keeping it wet, keeping it clean, keeping it clear so you can see. And when a speck of grit gets in, or the wind blows hard, or you slice into a sharp onion and the stinging fumes rise, your eyes flood with a sudden gush of that same water to wash the trouble out and protect the delicate thing behind it. Every creature with eyes like yours makes these tears. The wolf makes them, the chimp makes them, the horse, the hound, the bird on the branch, all of them. These are eye-guard tears, and there is nothing strange or human about them at all. They are as old as eyes. But the second kind is different, and it is yours alone. These are the tears that well up when nothing has touched your eye, when there is no grit, no wind, no onion, no harm to the eye at all, only a feeling too big to hold inside. Grief, love, relief, awe, a joy that aches. And here is the first hard piece of the answer, the part that is measured and known and not a guess. Those two kinds of tears are not even made of the same stuff. When careful people gathered up emotional tears, the kind wept from feeling, and set them beside the plain eye-washing kind, and looked closely at what was dissolved in each, they found the emotional ones carry things the others do not. More of the chemistry your body makes under stress. And a natural painkiller your body brews for itself, one of its own soothing agents, riding out in the salt water. Sit with that for a moment. Your body is not just leaking water when you weep from your heart. It is mixing a different potion and carrying out of you, in those very drops, some of the load of the feeling itself. Whether the crying truly drains the pain the way it feels like it does, or whether that is only part of it, the careful people still argue. But the plain fact stands, and it is strange enough on its own. The tears of feeling are a different water from the tears of dust. Your body knows the difference. It made two separate things, so the eye-guard tears look after your eye. Good, simple. But the tears of feeling do not seem to be for your eye at all. They are not washing anything out. They are not protecting anything. So what, then, are they for? And here is where the whole thing turns over, and where you have to stop thinking about yourself alone, in a room, and start thinking about yourself as one small body among other bodies. Because the answer is not something your tears do inside you. It is something your tears do between you and the people around you. Crying is a signal. That is the heart of it. Those tears on your face are a message sent out of you, aimed at other eyes. Think about what tears actually do to your face. They make it shine and blur and redden. They gather and glisten and spill in a way that anyone looking at you can see in an instant, even from across a room, even a small child too young for words. A tear is one of the loudest, clearest, most unmistakable things a human face can do. You cannot mistake a weeping face for anything else. It reaches out and grabs the eye of everyone near. And a thing that is that visible, that attention-grabbing, that impossible to ignore, is not a private thing at all. It is built to be seen. But now here is the truly clever part, the part that took the longest to understand, and the part that makes crying not just a signal but an honest one, a signal that cannot easily be faked or ignored. Because plenty of signals are cheap. Words are cheap. Anyone can say, "I am sad, I am no danger to you, I need your help," and anyone can lie while saying it. A signal that costs nothing to send is a signal that can be faked, and a signal that can be faked is a signal no one fully trusts. But a tear is not cheap. A tear costs you something real in the very moment you shed it. Think about what crying actually does to you. It blurs your vision. Real tears, welling and spilling, smear the world into a swimming haze. For those moments you cannot see clearly. You cannot easily judge a threat, cannot easily fight, cannot easily flee. You are right then, half blind and undone and plainly out of the running for any fight at all, and your face crumples and gives you away completely, hiding nothing. In the ancient world, in a hard and dangerous place, dropping your guard like that in front of others was no small thing. It laid you bare. It made you, for those moments, weak and open and unable to defend yourself. And that very weakness, that very handicap, is exactly the message, because you would not lay yourself open like that in front of an enemy. You would not blur your own eyes and bare your own throat to someone who meant you harm. So when you weep in front of another person, your body is saying something it could not say half so believably any other way. It is saying, look, I am dropping my guard in front of you. I am making myself weak where you can see it. I am no threat to you, and I trust you not to be one to me. I need you. Come close, and because it costs you something to say it, because you cannot fake the true helpless blur of it easily, the message is believed. It is an honest signal. The handicap is the whole point. And once you see crying as an honest signal of I am no threat and I need you, everything it does falls into place. See what happens when someone near you truly weeps. Something in you softens before you have thought about it at all. Your own edges come down. The urge to help, to reach out, to draw close and gentle your voice rises up in you without asking. A crying face pulls people toward it. It calls in the ones who care for you, the mother to the child, the friend to the friend, the whole small circle of your people, drawn in by a signal older and faster than any word. That is a bonding thing. It knits the ones who see it closer to the one who sheds it. And it does something else, something just as old and just as useful. It cools a fight. Picture two who are angry, squared off, hearts pounding on the very edge of blows, and one of them breaks and the tears come. Watch what happens to the other. The anger falters. It is very hard, something in us will not easily let us, to keep striking at a thing that is weeping openly in front of us. The tears say, I yield, I am no threat, this has gone far enough, and more often than not the other is disarmed by it, the fury draining out of the moment. In a small band of people who had to live pressed close together for their whole lives, who could not simply walk away from one another, a thing that cooled a fight before it turned to blood was worth more than you can easily imagine. Crying keeps the peace. Now let me stop and be honest with you, the way I always try to be, and mark plainly where we stand on solid ground and where we are stepping out onto careful guesswork. That there are two kinds of tears, the eye-guard kind that every animal makes and the emotional kind that only you make, that is known. That your emotional tears carry a different chemistry, more of your stress brew and a soothing agent of your own, that is measured. That a weeping face pulls other people toward it, softens them, draws help and cools anger, that too has been watched and tested. That is firm ground. You can stand on it. But the deepest why, the whole story I have told you about the ancient band and the honest signal and the handicap that says come close, that is reasoning. That is the best and clearest sense we can make of all the clues, and the clues point that way hard, and me think it is very likely right. But nobody climbed back into the deep past to watch the first tear of grief roll down the first human cheek, and nobody can crack open a living feeling to be certain of its purpose. So hold that part the way you would hold any fine, well-reasoned guess, firmly enough to think with, loosely enough to let go if better evidence ever comes. The tears are real. The chemistry is real. What the tears are deeply for is our best and most careful reading, and a lovely one, but it is a reading, not a stone with words carved into it. And now, while that settles, do one small thing for me. Think back to the last time you truly wept, not the onion, not the grit in your eye, the real kind, the kind that came from your heart. Where were you? Who was there? And what did they do? I would guess that if someone was near who loved you, they came closer, not further away. They softened. They reached for you, or they lowered their voice, or they simply sat down beside you and stayed. That was not manners. That was not politeness. That was a signal 100,000 years old reaching out of your wet eyes and pulling them in, exactly as it was built to do, exactly as it did around the fires of your ancestors, long before there were any words at all to say, "I am hurting, please, come close. Come back with me now to the fire, to the world this thing was truly built for," because that is where it stops being a curiosity and becomes the very glue that held a band of people alive. The night is cold and the mood is raw. We have lost one of our own this day, a good one, and the grief sits heavy over the low flames. And Mara, who loved the one we lost, cannot hold it any longer. Her face breaks open and the tears come, shining in the firelight, spilling down, and she does not hide them. And see what it does to all of us around that fire. No one has to be told. We move toward her, not away. We come close. A hand on her shoulder, a body settling in against her side, the whole ring of us drawn in tight around her grief by the plain sight of it on her wet face. Her tears called us and we came, and in the coming we were bound one notch tighter to one another against the dark. That is the signal doing its true and gentle work, and later that same night, the raw mood turns dangerous. Dax and another, both worn thin by grief and fear, fall to arguing, and it sharpens fast, voices rising, hands balling into fists, the whole thing a breath away from blows we can none of us afford. And then Dax, proud, cocky Dax, breaks. The tears come up in him against his will, right there in front of everyone, and his face crumples and his guard drops all the way to the ground. And the other man, fist still half raised, stops. You can see it go out of him. You cannot keep swinging at a man weeping openly in front of you. The fury drains out of the night. The two of them, a moment ago at each other's throats, end the night side by side. The tears cooled it. The tears kept the peace. On a night when a fight between two of us might have cost the whole band dear, the salt water running down a proud man's face was worth more than any weapon. So let me bring it home now, because this is the part I truly want you to carry out of here with you. The next time your eyes sting and fill and spill over from pure feeling, and you feel that old hot rush with no say from you at all, I want you to stop for one breath and know what is really happening. That is not weakness. That is not a breakdown, and it is not a thing to be ashamed of, and it is not the opposite of strength. That is one of the oldest and most powerful tools any human body was ever given. That is an honest signal, a thing you cannot fake and cannot fully hide, reaching out of you to say to the people near you, "I am no threat, I trust you, I need you, come close." That is your body doing the most human thing it knows how to do, reaching for other people, binding you to your band. The most useless-looking thing you do turns out to be a quiet superpower, one of the very threads that stitched our kind into the deeply cooperating creature it became. We did not survive by being the strongest or the fastest. We survived by holding to each other, and weeping, that strange human water, is one of the ways a body reaches out and takes hold. You are not weak when you cry. You are doing the thing that made us. You are a herd animal. That is the plain truth of it, under all the walls and the pride and the clever talk that let you pretend, most of the time, that you stand alone and need no one. You do not stand alone. Your body will not let you. It leaks the truth of your heart down your own face where everyone can see it. It drops its guard on purpose in front of the ones it trusts. It calls your people in when you are breaking and cannot ask. And it does all of this for reasons older than your name, older than words, older than the fire. And every time the tears come and you cannot stop them, you are feeling it directly on your own wet cheeks. How deeply you were built for the many and not the one. So here is what I would truly love to know, and I mean it, so tell me down in the comments. First, Think of the last time someone else cried in front of you and be honest about what it did to you. Did you soften? Did you move closer? Did the tears pull something open in you that you could not have closed if you tried? Because if what I told you tonight is true, that pull was ancient, and I would like to hear about it. And second, tell me this. Were you ever taught to be ashamed of your own tears, and does it change anything to think of them tonight not as weakness, but as one of the oldest kinds of strength your body knows? This is ancient us, and this whole channel is about the body you are sitting in right now, and all the old machinery still quietly running inside it, long after the world it was built for is gone. This weeping is one piece of it. There are 100 more, hiding in plain sight, in things you do every single day and never once think to question. So stay with me and come find the next one. Next time I want to show you why a small baby's face, the big eyes and the round cheeks and the tiny chin, reaches straight past your reason and pulls a wave of tenderness out of you whether you will it or not. Because no matter how new and dry-eyed and far from my old fire you feel tonight, the truth is the same as it ever was. Something moved you and the water rose in your eyes and spilled down your face where your people could see it, exactly as it rose in them, around a fire, in the dark, calling their band in close 100,000 years ago. You did not choose it. They did not choose it either, and your body still remembers.